Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. I wanted to give you a kind of a recap really quick here. So, I was watching a Joshua Bardwell video where he kind of gave a rundown on how he chooses the size of prop drone for whatever weight class he's looking at. He kind of gave us some ballpark ideas, like if he were to throw like a 20 kilogram mass, like for a crop duster or something on there, like what size of blade, and he kicked it up to something like 24 inch or something to that effect. Pretty cool stuff. He did a really great job kind of demonstrating like the ballpark estimates of what sort of size drone you should be flying for certain weight classes. I was talking to some people in the comments in that video and kind of mentioned that I thought I'd like to throw my hat into the ring and sort of give a tool to the community that would allow us to be able to estimate the flight characteristics of a drone a little bit more scientifically. Because what he did was he basically took a formula. Let's see if I have it here. So he was using a disk loading formula. Oh, I know it. I know I put it in here somewhere. Yeah, anywho. There we are. So he used a disk loading formula to be able to produce a number or a value that kind of gave a ballpark of how well it was going to fly. He basically was like, if it's over a certain number, it's going to fly like a pig. Which makes sense. Like if you have too small a prop, it's just not going to go that well for you. You're going to be pegging the motor as fast as it can go, and you're just going to cook up your motors. So what I've done here is I created a very brief script. It's about 84 lines, barring a few spaces here and there, where I have kind of worked towards creating a simulation of sorts where you can take a snapshot, a moment in time for a drone. So I started off with air density as the most foundational, maybe not the most important, but the most foundational for drones, because air density kind of rules the skies. Lots of aircraft depend on this to know different things such as drag or thrust coefficients. This is a very, very important function. So I created a little function that took the altitude in feet and the temperature in C. I know. It's in Celsius and in feet. I'll fix it. I'm going to make it so this one will be in meters and Celsius for one, and feet and Fahrenheit, but F and F was confusing. So for now it's Celsius. So I'll change it later. So basically, in a nutshell, what's happening here is you can input an altitude, and it uses the air density at sea level with the gas constant. And then I used Excel to generate me a formula that would produce a value that, technically this was all punched out of a Excel spreadsheet that I made to kind of give me an idea of how the air density would change from sea level up all the way up to 10,000 feet. I can go higher if need be, but I kind of had a good idea of what the temperature and at what altitudes would change up to about 10,000 feet. So that's what I put in. I used the temperature C here, and then I used the altitude in meters here. And this is kind of a deterioration constant for the temperature. So this times that plus this. So this is the conversion factor from Celsius to Kelvin. That plus Celsius. So this puts it in Kelvin. The reason being is that for this guy, so this is the ideal gas law. P equals, well, yeah, anyway. Not P equals. There's something that my chemistry teacher once told me that came to mind. Anyway, back to it. So this is the ideal gas constant, and it will tell us our air density. But the pressure has to be in pascals. So that's what this is. This is a conversion factor to pascals. And then the let's see, the temperature has to be in Kelvin. That one tripped me up at first. I first put it in and I was super confused why my value was what it was. So after I fixed that, much better. So I'll quickly just kind of give you a demo. So this guy right here is currently my stand-in for air density. So if I run the function, this is assuming at sea level 20 degrees Celsius. So let's go up to 10,000 feet. So this is assuming that you're at this temperature wherever you're at, and you've gone up from there 10,000 feet. So that will lead you to that air density coefficient. So this is where you're standing, where you launched the drone from, and this is where the drone is, above that point. So it's kind of dirty. This is just kind of assuming sea level right now, but it should work pretty much the same at any altitude. So if you were at, say, 5,000 feet and it's 20 degrees here, and suddenly you went up to 15,000 feet, which I don't see anybody doing, but maybe you could, maybe you would. The difference in height will be whatever this is. So that's kind of just a general breakdown of what I've accomplished so far. I mentioned that I'd probably do this in some time off in the evenings or whatever here and there to try to kind of push it through. And I'm only really done with the air density so far. I'm going to try to push through air density, and then now that I have that, I will go on to, I think, thrust next. So I'll do this guy, and then once I have thrust, we can look at potentially adding another variable for excess thrust. So your thrust up to where your acceleration is defying that of gravity. So your acceleration in the upward direction will be this guy. So 9.83 is gravity's constant. That's in meters per second. Well, technically meters per second per second. So you'll have to have an acceleration up to fight gravity, and that will be our thrust, and then our thrust at zero acceleration. And then you'll have excess thrust, which is the fun thrust. So we'll start here, and once I get this stuff figured out, I'll upload another, well, maybe not this flight angle. This one is going to come later. That's going to be a little more complicated, a lot of trigonometry. But as soon as I get this guy and this guy, I'll upload another video and kind of give you the rundown on how that's going and how that's working. And I will see you then. Okay, take it easy. Bye.